Hello, in this tutorial video we are going over how notification system can be extended, and we'll extend several example methods. First, let's import Ultimate Notification System into a new project. Now let's go into demo scenes to go over how notification system works. So at the core of the notification system is notification data class, which can be found here. Notification data contains all the variables that you can pass to notification system for it to display. You can easily extend this class with a partial keyword. We'll get to it soon. Next component is Notification Manager. Notification Manager is an optional component that you can use to show notifications based on string IDs of notification displays. Notification displays are what is actually responsible for queuing, showing and hiding and general notification showing behavior. Here you have unique ID. This is unique ID you'll be using from Notification Manager to call on this specific display. It will automatically register itself with Notification Manager. Then you have notification item prefabs, and you can have as many notification items as you want. Then you have spawn directions. Spawn directions control where in the hierarchy the object will be shown when it's spawned, at the bottom or at the top of the list. Then you have this max notification and notification cooldown behavior, which control how many notifications can be shown at once, and when you retrigger a notification, how much it must wait before it can show notification again. And this way you can save player from being spammed with hundreds of notifications. Then you have queuing behavior. If you want, you can queue notifications and then automatically advance the queue. So for example, you have like string notifications and you show the first one, this will hide the first one and like show the new one, so it will just keep scrolling the queue. And last, you can use pooling behavior to control if you want game objects to be pulled or destroyed and created each time. The last item for notification is actually notification item that gets displayed when you show notification. Here we can look at the example, and the base class of this is notification item. Notification item is simply takes commands from notification display to show, hide notification and to pass the data to it. Then there are add-on components. Add-on components will hook into these events here, and they will show or hide notification based on this behavior. For example, let's take a look at this item display data. So what it does, it's in its base class here, it will hook into the own data assigned from notification item, and then it will when the new data is assigned, it will show text and images based on what data you passed it and what items are assigned here. So it will just iterate through all the items and display them if everything is alright. And same way, this item display components will show item displays based on different animation types and behaviors, which you can all find in this animal component submenu. All the stuff is here. So now what we're gonna do is we are going to write two extension methods. One is going to take, instead of sprites, it will take texture components and show them in raw image UI components, and another will combine all the texts passed to notification into one combined text. And to start, let's create a new folder here. Let's call it Notification System Extensions. And let's start by extending the notification data class. And what we want here is use partial keyword to add our own custom variables into this notification data without overwriting any source code. So let's create a new script, call it the same name, notification data. And let's open this and put it in same namespace as all the classes in notification system are. And and we're going to get the error because we are using the same class that already exists. But if we add a partial keyword, now this text in this class, comments in the class will just extend the original source file. We don't need mono behavior and all these functions, so let's delete them. Yeah, and now let's add our own new list of textures instead of sprites. So we do list texture 2D, and let's call it textures. And before I save, let's take a look at how notification data is displayed before this operation. So if you go here in this notification helper component, we can see that we can only assign text and sprites. But if we save this script, now you can see a textures is added. So this way you can add any type of custom data that you want to send to notification system. Now let's extend the notification display behavior here, the text and sprites behavior, to also show raw images. So let's create a new script and add raw images here, and let's open the script, and again let's put it in our namespace. And let's use inheritance to extend the original text and sprites class. Okay, so now we are going to add our list of raw images here, so we can iterate through them. And first let's go ahead and include the Unity Engine UI namespace so we can access the UI components. And let's add raw image here, and call this raw images. Okay, now we're going to override on data assigned script here, and if we go into base behavior, we'll see that this just calls the show functions here. And we're going to leave the base comment for it to show text and sprites and stuff like that, and we're going to extend it to show to also include custom function that will show sprites, the raw images. So let's create this new. Let's actually copy the existing images function, one of the images functions, and override them to display the raw images instead of images. So let's add raw images here. Instead of sprites, let's use textures, and instead of images, let's use our new raw images component and assign a texture. So now we're going to call this function here in our overridden function, and now this will display the raw images passed through notification data. And we are going to have to do one more modification, and this is because notification helper component creates a copy of notification data every time it sends it. This is so original notification data assigned here is not modified, because notification data is a class. When you send it to notification system, it might be modified. So if you don't want this behavior to happen, then you should send a copy. So let's override this copy to also support the our new changes. So let's go into textures and copy over to newly created notification data here, the past notification data textures. Okay, so this should be all that we need to display the notification data. But while we're at it, let's create a new class to create our text combiner. So data processor combiner. Let's do namespace, animal, notification system, and delete all this, we don't need it. And here all we have to do is extend this notification data processor class, and we just need to add one function. And the way this works is that all the major points like notification manager, notification display, notification item have this data processor lists. So what the data processors do is they let you pass notifications through your custom code where you can do anything you want. For example, the game ships with all caps example. Here, as you can see, just iterates through all the text items and makes them all caps. So you can use this for localization, to process any custom text, and because this is presented as a list of items, you can queue any number of data processors on any item, and depending on where you use it, it will either change all notifications if you use it on notification manager, all notifications pass through the certain notification display if you use it on display, and if you use it on item, only that item will process the data with those data processors. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new string here as a separator in case you want some separator between combined strings. So let's do new variable here, separator, and by default let's have just colon. Now let's iterate through the notification data texts. So let's create a for loop, goes through texts, and yeah. So now what we want to do is we want a new combined string that combined all the text items. So combined string. And now what we want to do is probably we don't want to combine separator with the first item. So let's write our function like this. Let's add to combiner a conditioned separator. So if it's the first item, then we'll use separator. We will not use separator and we'll use just empty string. And if it's not, then we'll use separator. Okay, and let's combine this with our actual data text that's in notification data. Okay, and at the end let's clear the text list from the notification and return and add this combined notification as the only element in the list. And now let's return the data. We need to add here the index, so the data that gets passed in combiner is not the whole list but just the one list item. And we are done. Now we need to create a new notification item that will use our new scripts. So let's go, for example, let's override the alert. Alert should have alert display should have the prefab with icon that we can reuse. So in canvas, let's just drag and drop it from notification system, demos, Unity UI, prefabs, notification items, and then horizontal, and we're gonna reuse this one. Let's unpack the prefab so we don't overwrite original prefab for some reason, and let's call it horizontal with raw image. And what we want to do here is first we want to disable this additional text file component because we are only going to use one, and let's bring this closer to here. No, let me need like 450. Okay, this is good. And let's delete the image component here and add raw image. And now let's delete this item data display old one and add our new one that we just created. Okay, let's assign our notification item, and we're gonna need only one text items to assign here. And instead of sprites we'll assign one raw image. Okay, so this should be our prefab ready. Let's add our data processor also. So data processor combiner, and let's just add our script here. We're going to use the separator default one, and notification item, let's add our data processor, and let's create this into a new prefab here, and let's, in the horizontal alert display, let's replace the first element with our new element. And now let's go to the let's reuse this positive alert button, and we're going to, instead of the icon here, we're going to use the texture of the same icon but in texture format. So yeah, let's use this one. And for style variation, let's select the 0 because we used it as a first element. And now let's go and test our cool new modifications. So let's start the game and hit the positive alert, and yeah, as you can see here, our new prefab was spawned. It uses the raw image component and the texture component passed to it, which is useful if you want to extend the system with stuff like render textures and render camera output into notifications or stuff like that. And all our text was combined into one single text item instead of the two items that were passed from this text array. This is it for this tutorial. Thank you for purchasing the Ultimate Notification System, and good luck on your game development journey. Cheers!